In the last two videos, we have seen how to create the data frames using pandas and also how to access the elements from the created data frame. In this video, we'll see various attributes and the operations that are supported by data frame data structure. So now let's see, so what are the attributes that are supported by this data frame data structure? We have various attributes that are supported by this data frames to know the properties of the given data frame. So let's consider this data frame DF4, so which we have taken as an example for the previous videos. It is a two-dimensional grid of data which is having register number, name, pending backlogs, aggregate, credits, hostler or not, gender. So all these as the columns, and there are 73 rows and 7 columns in this data frame DF4. So now let's try to know the properties of this data frame DF4. I can use NDIM, which stands for the number of dimensions, to know how many dimensions are there in the data frame. So here you can see that there are 2 dimensions. So the row dimension and the column dimension, right? So there are 2 dimensions, so it is returning 2 as the return value. So NDIM on the data frame can be used to return the number of dimensions in the data structure. So we can use the shape attribute on the data frame, so to know the number of data values across each dimension of the data frame. That is, how many columns are there, how many rows are there, you can understand using this shape attribute. The shape attribute returns a tuple which consists of the number of rows followed by the number of columns separated by a comma value. This is how we can use the shape attribute to know the number of data values across the dimension in the data frame. Then we can use the size attribute to know the total number of elements in the data frame. It simply returns a value which is the product of the number of rows into number of columns, 73 into 7. So that is equal to 511. So that is how the size attribute can be used to know the total number of elements in the data frame. So D types is the attribute which is used to know the column type of the data frame. So each column belong to which type? We can understand that by calling the D types attribute on the data frame. So df4.d types. So here it lists out all the column names along with their type. So here you can see register number, its type is object, name, object type, pending backlogs, it's int 64, aggregate, float 64, credits, int 64, hostler, object, gender, object. That is how what is the type of each column, so that can be returned using the D types attribute. Then we have another attribute with the name index which allows you to return the names of the rows. That is, it just returns what are the names of the rows. Because it is following the integer indexing and there are 73 such index values, so it shows only the start and stop value. So 0 to 73. So that is how you can use the index value to know the labels of the rows of the data frame. And similarly, you can use the columns attribute to return the names of the columns. So if you observe here, the columns attribute on D4, it returns all the column names as a list. So here you can observe that the names of the columns is returned as a list. Register number, name, pending backlogs, aggregate, credits, hostler, gender. So all these are the names of the columns in DF4. And now we can use the access attribute, so to retrieve both index and column names. So using the index attribute, you can retrieve the row index values, columns attribute to retrieve the column labels, whereas access attribute can be used to return the index values of both rows and columns with a single statement. So you can observe here, what is the range index of the rows? As it is integer indexing, it is showing it as a range. So 0 to 73. And the column indices are returned as a list of strings. Then we can use the values attribute, so to represent the data frame as a numpy. That is, to return a numpy representation of the data frame, we can use the values attribute along with the data frame. Here you can observe that so every row is represented as a list, and so this is represented as a list of lists, a nested list. So this is how to get the numpy representation of the data frame, we can use the values attribute. So now let's apply this value attribute on a small set of data so that it's easy to understand. I am retrieving a range of data from 2 to 6 rows and the columns 1 to 5, and all the values in that intersection of rows and columns I would like to return, and as a numpy representation I would like to return. So then I can combine I location and the values attributes. So here you can observe that the return value is of type array. So this is how you can get the array representation. You are basically converting the data frame into the numpy representation. And similarly, you have another attribute to check whether the data frame is empty or not. So you can use the attribute empty along with the data frame name so that it returns true if the data frame is empty. So because the data frame is not empty, it is returning a false value. So that is how we can use various attributes to know the properties of the data frames. So now let's see how we can apply various operations like addition, deletion and modification of specific cell values, or addition, deletion and modification of a row or a column in the data frame. So basically how to add, delete or modify rows, columns or specific values in the data frame we'll discuss now. So consider this data frame DF4, so which is having 3 different columns and 4 different rows. We'll be using this data frame for illustrating the examples in the further lecture. To access a specific value from the data frame, we can use this kind of notation, like we are using the data frame name followed by the column name followed by which specific value you are accessing from the row. So say for example df4.name of 0. So now let's see how we can modify a specific value. So say for example, I would like to change the name of the first person from Ram to some other name I would like to change. So how do I do that? So this can be done by specifying a single value in the data frame. So we can do this in multiple ways. So here I would like to use the name of the column along with the index of the row. So I can use the statement df4 dot the name of the column followed by, so use the index operator of the row. This is how I can use the statement df4 dot name of 0, and the updated value you had to note it down on the right side of this statement, so that the value of Ram will be changed to Rohan. So now let's check whether the updation is done or not. So in df4 now it's changed to Rohan. So earlier it was Ram, now it's changed to Rohan. This is how you can change a specific value in the data frame. So by using the column name and the row index. So we can use a different notation also by using the index for both rows and columns. So now let's check how to use the row index and column index to change a specific value in the data frame. So here in this case, I would like to change marks of the second student Raj from 82 to 90. So now let's see how we can do that. So we can use the iLocation attribute and iLocation of 1, 2. This 82 value can be referred to by the index of 1 and the column index as 2, right? So we can use iLocation stands for integer indexing. So we can use the integer indexing for both row and column. So instead of 82, I would like to change it to 90. So I am assigning 92 to that value so that this value 82 will be changed to 90. Now let's check the data frame to check whether the value has been changed or not. Now if you observe, the value instead of 82, it has been changed to 90. By using the name of the column along with the row index, you can use to change a specific value, or you can use integer indexing for both rows and columns to change a specific value in the data frame. Now let's see how we can add a row or a column in the data frame. So now let's first see how to add a new column to the data frame with same element across all the rows. Say for example, now I would like to add the program name for all the students, that is whether they are belonging to UG or PG. Instead of specifying the program name for all the students, I would like to specify the program for all the students as UG. I can add a new column with the name program, and the value I would like to assign is a scalar value which is same across all the students. So for this data frame, I would like to add a new column with the name program. So whatever the column you would like to add, that you can pass it as a key value, and whatever the value, so if you would like to use the same value, then you can mention that scalar itself. So now if you observe, so it has been changed. So now let's check whether it has been implemented or not. If you observe, a new column is now introduced to this data frame. So with the same value across all the columns, across all the rows. So that is how you can add a new column with the same value for all the elements. So now let's add a new column with different values across all the rows. So now let's see how we can do that. So now I want to add a new column with the name address, and I would like to add different values for all the students. Then what I can do is I can pass a list of elements. Say for example, there are 4 students here. So I need to pass 4 different values as a list to this address column, so that the address column will be added with different values. Now let's check. So if you observe here now, address column has been added. So with Chennai, Hyderabad, Bangalore and Bombay. So earlier we have added a new column with the same value across the rows, but now a new column address has been added with different columns across the rows. So that is how we can add a new column to the data frame. So now let's add a new row to the data frame. So how do we add that? We'll see that now. Now let's add a new row to this data frame. So I would like to add the new row with the index 4, whereas the column location I need to add a new row with the index 4. So I need to pass 4 to the location attribute, and the row must be indicated with a colon, as you would like to pass all the elements to this row. And I am passing values across all the columns. That is, for every column value, you need to specify the value. So there are 2 different ways to do this. Either you can use the location attribute, or you can use the at attribute. So both work in a similar manner, and the number of elements in the list must be equal to the number of columns in your data frame. So here there are 5 different columns in your data frame, so you need to pass 5 different elements in your list. So now I am using the location attribute. So now let's check the data frame. So if you observe here, now a new row has been added to your data frame with the index 4 and with the values that you have provided. So now you can see a new row has been added to your data frame with the index as 4 and with whatever the values you have passed in the list. So Manasvi, Java, 91, UG, Bangalore. So that is how you can add a new row to the data frame. And you can even use the at attribute to add a new row. So similarly, however you used the location attribute, in the same manner you can use, so except that you are using the at this time. So now I would like to add the new row with the index 6. Now let's see whether it is enforced or not. So now you can observe that a new row has been added with the index 6 and all the elements that you have passed as a list. Now let's see how we can delete the rows or columns in the, now let's see how we can delete a specific row or a specific column or multiple rows or multiple columns from the data frame. So you can use the del operator to delete a single column. So now let's see how we can delete rows or columns from the data frame. It is not possible to delete a single element from the data frame, but it is possible to delete either single row or multiple rows, even the single columns or the multiple columns from the data frame. We can use either the del operator or we can use a drop method to delete the columns or rows from the data frame. So now let's see how we can use the del operator to delete a specific column. Use the del operator along with the data frame name and by passing whichever column you would like to remove. So here what are the columns you have in this data frame? Name, subject, marks, program, address. So let's remove this column with the name address. The name of the column you need to pass. So now you can observe the del operator with the data frame df4, and I would like to remove the column name whose name is address. So let's check whether it has been changed or not. If you observe, there is no column with the name address. So that is how you can remove a specific column from the data frame. Now let's see how we can use the drop method to delete multiple columns. So using the del operator, we can delete only one specific column at a time. But using the drop method, we can remove multiple columns at a time from the data frame. So now we can remove multiple columns from the data frame by using the drop method. So all you need to do is you need to provide the columns that are to be deleted as a list. You just list out all the names of the columns as a list, and the second argument must be either a 1 or 0. The access attribute can take either value 0 or 1, where so 0 indicates you are deleting the rows, where 1 indicates the value of 1 indicates you are removing the columns. So now let's execute and see. So check whether columns are removed or not. Yeah, now you can observe that both the columns with the name, program and marks have been removed from this data frame df4. And similarly, we can use the same drop method. So by passing the row indexing as a list value, similarly we can use the drop method to delete either a single row or multiple rows from the given data frame. So all we need to do is we just need to pass the index values of the rows that we would like to remove from the data frame, so as a list, and then set the access value to 0. So here in this statement I am passing 0, 2 as I would like to remove the rows whose indices are 0 and 2, and then the access value should be set to 0, so that we are indicating removal of the rows, not the columns. When access is set to 1, then that indicates we are going to remove the columns. Where access is set to 0, then that indicates we are going to remove the rows. So now let's execute this and see. If you observe now, you can observe the rows with the index values 0 and 2 have been removed from this data frame df4. So that is how we can remove a specific, that is how we can either add or remove or update the values of the data frame. So far in this lecture we have seen how to check the properties of the data frame, and in addition we have seen how to add or remove or update the values of the data frame along with addition and deletion of the rows and columns to the data frame. In the next lecture we will discuss various operations that can be applied on the data frames. We will see in detail. Thank you for watching this video.